Hi. So I'm just like repeating what Balaji Srinivasan said, or like some kind of summarizing it in my article. And okay, he kind of provocatively talks about like truth, health, and wealth as the new égalité, fraternité, liberté, or I think the liberté is the first, but it's like the French Revolution motto, like liberté, égalité, fraternité. And so yeah, it's like liberty or freedom, equality, and fraternity, right? So it's like three kind of values.
Hello, welcome back to Mtambo's Desk, a weekly podcast covering deep conversations on technology, philosophy, complex science, and civilization. My name is Jakub Mtambo, and the following is a conversation with Jakub Simek, a co-founder of Wezesha DAO and an author of Wisdom Enterprising. In today's episode, I'll be talking with Jakub Simek about his article, Truth, Health, Wealth, under the daily Balajisms series. And now, dear friends, here is Jakub Simek. Jakub, thank you for joining me again today.
Hi, Duke. Hi, it's my pleasure.
Well, in your article, you propose a new motto for the era of Web3 and the network states. That is truth, wealth, and health in that order, or truth, health, and wealth in that order. Can you tell us more about why you believe this motto is important for tech progressives, protopians, and optimalists?
Hi. So I'm just like repeating what Balaji Srinivasan said, or like some kind of summarizing it in my article. And okay, he kind of provocatively talks about like truth, health, and wealth as the new égalité, fraternité, liberté, or I think the liberté is the first, but it's like the French Revolution motto, like liberté, égalité, fraternité. And so yeah, it's like liberty or freedom, equality, and fraternity, right? So it's like three kind of values. But like truth, it's like the truth should be the first priority. Because it means like you learn about the real kind of situation of your environment, of the world. You get the truthful information about let's say yeah, also your own kind of skills or your own kind of situation. So like to be truthful to yourself and to others is like the first kind of value, and it's connected to the concept of the news you can use. The Balaji talks about quite a lot. He talks about like how our information supply chain is broken and how we need better news making. He talks about like how the news will get split into oracles, like crypto oracles and advocates. So like someone who is providing like more quality data feeds. Let's say it's just you get the Bitcoin ledger as an example of like financial, let's say some data feed that it's kind of very difficult to corrupt and to modify because it could be very expensive. But it's like an example of just like a prototype or like example that can be expanded with so-called crypto oracles to also other areas. But the overall kind of value here is the truth. Like you want to get closer to truth that is like uncensorable, undeletable, yeah. I mean, it's truth. Like okay, it might be just like on the level of metadata. Meaning like you at least who send what, let's say what transaction to whom and when, so like who, what, and when. At least these three things. And of course like some kind of news can be still like maybe false or something, but at least who said it when, and it's difficult to delete or something. So this is like, sorry, maybe a detour into the concept of the ledger of record compared to the paper of record. So it's like a better alternative, but the truth, it should be like according to Balaji, like the first kind of priority. And then you can build also healthier communities, like let's say, because let's say if you challenge something like the food pyramid, like maybe some people or many people should use like less carbs in their diet, and maybe definitely less sugar, and let's say maybe more meat and more vegetables. That's like just an example, but like if you pursue truth like in various domains, you can also get like healthier society, like also maybe like pursuing longevity, like and fitness, instead of just like some kind of like getting treatment once you get sick. And then health could be also like health of the community, like healthy relationships, and ultimately wealth. Yeah, I mean, wealth is important, but like the health and truth is more important than wealth, but it's something. Then it gets us to this concept of like win and let win, what Balaji talks about, like being like pragmatic and like, I don't know, winning in one domain, but then supporting other people to also win, like don't have this like zero sum mentality of like somebody has to lose for me to win, something like that.
Okay, that's an interesting perspective. You also mentioned how fiat money is backed by men with guns, and contrasts that with Bitcoin, which is backed by math. Can you explain why you believe that network states will need to provide better narratives of tech progress and a more reliable account of history?
Yeah, so okay, so this is the quote by Paul Krugman, that Balaji talks about it quite a lot. That ultimately, like the fiat money, it's like backed by the police and the military, and which is okay, but sometimes it happens like. Let's say when there is some economic crisis, like you see it, like let's say in Lebanon or in Venezuela or something, then those like people of the state, like those bureaucrats, or let's say policemen and soldiers, they are kind of unable to secure that those functioning society anymore. And you also see like a hyperinflation or a really big inflation, let's say, in these places. And then many things break down, and people then like they use, let's say, Bitcoin as some kind of lifeboat, or something. And Bitcoin is and some other cryptocurrencies. I don't know, Ethereum. We worked. I mean, we tested Solana or something. So, but Bitcoin is like a digital gold, and let's say you just need to remember like 12 words or something, and you can, like, if you escape some country, let's say you are a refugee or something, and for example, it happened also like in like Ukrainians, they were escaping Ukraine through Slovakia or to Slovakia, and they couldn't actually even like they had like their money, like hryvnias, they couldn't exchange it in Slovakia because, I don't know, for some reason, we just like it didn't work like with our banks or something. So if they didn't have a bank card, or if they just had cash, they had to rely kind of on some volunteers to take that money and like give them euros. It was like kind of, they couldn't do it. But if they had like, let's say, some kind of Bitcoin Lightning wallet or something, and sometimes you just really, if you even lose your mobile phone or anything, if you remember some kind of like a mnemonic phrase of 12 words or 13, 14, I don't know, then you can like restore your wallet, and you can secure your property. It's like really like a digital gold. And of course now the Bitcoin kind of went down, and now it's going also a little bit up. But it's still, I guess, much better than some countries, like or the institutions in some countries like Venezuela or something. Therefore, or Lebanon. Therefore, people are like mining and using Bitcoin over there. So it's like a math over over state. state violence or something like that. Which, I mean, it's of course police and military are very important, but they can fail. I mean, that's like the point. But the math is more more secure in a way and less costly. Many people are like arguing that Bitcoin is like unecological because it's like the proof of work. It's like expensive ecologically, or I mean, there is a lot of energy needed for it. But Balaji uses this quote by Paul Krugman. It's like a famous economist that the fiat money are backed by men with guns, but meaning also it's not just guns, but like airplanes and missiles and all these like these big military ships, and I don't know, it's like they cost a lot of money and a lot of energy to run. So it's like in this perspective, Bitcoin is not that expensive or that energy demanding.
Mm-hmm. Okay. That's a great point. Let's talk about the importance of news you can use, or news you can use in quote as a model for digital native media and education. Can you explain why you believe this is important and what it would look like in practice?
Right. So, like with Web3, Balaji again talks about this quite a lot. You can build like better information supply chains where it's not built around clickbait, and it's also not built around the most clicks you can get or the biggest audience. But Balaji talks about like kind of jokes that I don't know, companies or like venture capitalists like A16Z are probably the most successful media outlets, meaning like you might get only like 5 viewers or listeners or people who read your content, so maybe not 50,000 but let's say 5. But if they become like the next Zuckerberg, or if they like advance, let's say, some research or some kind of technology, then you kind of won. You don't need to you don't want to have like anyone, or you are not like producing infotainment or like clickbait or just like something for fun, but you are kind of trying to find like the next Zuckerberg or something. So you don't need to like target your content to the widest possible audience, but like you are like looking into like very kind of niche area. So that's like one thing. And another one, like with Web3 and with like kind of wearables, you could track, for example, you can have something like a DAO or like or your community, and you are producing some kind of content to your community, and you can track like if actually your community collectively is getting like healthier and richer, or more educated, and you can I don't know, you can somehow, I mean, this is like a sci-fi, but in the future, because let's say you could, there is like these technologies of like zero knowledge kind of proofs, or like zero knowledge, so you don't need to disclose, let's say, your name or your age or every, all the things. It could be kind of anonymized, like in a privacy preserving way. You could share, for example, if you're getting healthy by consuming this kind of content, let's say, that kind of tries to not uplift you, but tries to kind of challenge you, maybe in a way that you get healthier and more fit, like, I don't know, doing more exercises, or let's say drinking less, I don't know, quitting smoking, or like, just like getting more exercise, walking more, maybe eating less carbs and sugar. So these kind of things, just like, and the big difference from today's media is that in the near future, or in the future, you could like, again, we discussed before that you could kind of own the equity. It could be like community owned media or something. So but also you could like also people like through like decentralized social media will have like it could kind of in the future will be able to issue their personalized like their personal tokens or something. Like you could also invest into someone like future celebrities, or I mean future influencers or future entrepreneurs. You could have like even like the personal tokens in the future, which might sound maybe a bit controversial now. But the idea is basically that you can track the health, the fitness of the community much better than today, and also the wealth. So you can track like if the people are consuming your content, like as a media company or a DAO, some kind of community-owned media content or something, and if your subscribers and your members, if they're consuming your content, it's like a information diet, you know. So it's like a better information supply chain and better information diet. And if they are consuming, let's say, do they feel more like victims and more depressed and they need to take more medicines or something, or they feel more like victors and more like enabled and like more like, okay, let's let's do some like I don't know, some hard work, and let's like I don't know, get ready for some like, and let's just like grind our way to success. Yeah. So and you could measure it much better with Web3 in the future, because it can be like all put on chain and kind of measured and visible in a privacy preserving way, and also kind of aligned, you know, so you can like your members can grow with you. Yeah.
Okay, that's a great perspective. In your article, you also mentioned the importance of longevity as interpretation of health and how it connects to crypto medicine. Can you tell us more about this and how you see it impacting the future of healthcare?
Yeah, so like Balaji is quite qualified to talk about this because he sold like a biotech company. It was like one of his first companies or his first company, and he studied yeah, I mean he has some degrees like also in this area, and it actually helped with some rare diseases, like some kind of like a diagnosis of rare diseases, if I get it correctly. The company was called Council with the Y. And so, but he talks about like longevity as being similar to crypto because they both flip like basic premises. Like so, crypto kind of flipped many econ one-on-one premises, or like kind of came up with the concept of that deflation is good when it comes from productivity. Mild inflation is also bad. Then we should have like fixed money supply, like with Bitcoin, you know. We should pursue self custody. So every user should be a root user of their money, you know. So you can't be like deplatform or like unbanked. Then yeah, I mean, this is just like example on a crypto side. And say like with longevity, the idea is to expand the health span. So it's like healthy lifespan, which is abbreviated to a health span. So, and the flipping of basic premises or beliefs is like, so early death is bad, you know. It's when young people die or even children, that's like horrible, it's tragedy. But even if you are like elderly dying, it's also not good, you know. And it's also not good when especially when your health deteriorates when you are getting older, you know. Let's say if you are living your last 10 years in a really bad health, it's not good, you know. And it's I mean, it was like this or for millennia and for ages, but it doesn't mean that pursuing like increasing this health span is something that it's like utopian, you know. And we also discussed, like also in this article, but also in others, like protopianism, meaning like it's not utopian and it's also not a dystopian, but it's something focused on progressing bit by bit. So it's like protopian. It's like not focused on subject of like, I don't know, of my suffering, like I'm suffering, I'm like a subject to some bad things happening, not, and also not just like a object focused on object, like utopian, like let's say there will be this technological singularity and it will be all great and we don't need to do anything, it will just happen on its own. But it's for the protopians are not the dystopians focused only on suffering and everything will be terrible, or not only utopians focused on something like everything will happen by itself and it will be amazing because the progress is inevitable. But protopians are focused on project, so not subject or object, but project. It's one friend, or Daniel Fraga, talks about this, and he has a book about like these kind of issues. And yeah, and I like it, you know. It's like not object subject but project. And so the protopians are focused on some concrete projects. So let's say you want to get from A to B, and as we discussed before with optimalism, once you are in in B, you are like done. So it also doesn't mean that longevity. I mean, we also discussed that there are many these flavors of this transhumanism. Some are kind of like more I don't know, like this World Economic Forum kind of living in pods and eating bugs kind of things might be a bit negative, or there are various issues where the more conservative people might take with this kind of transhumanism. But then, you know, there are many flavors, and we discussed optimalism as something like optimizing some objective function, let's say increasing the health span, and also like being optimistic about the future. And let's say, yeah, just like let's say improving it by 5 years or 10 years, and solving for some diseases, like it's you know, I don't know, yeah, technology can get us quite far, you know, without like being like utopian, like I don't know, living until 1,000 years or something. But if it's like until 100 years and in a kind of healthy way, then it's like, you know, just like breaking these mental models that similar to crypto, that I don't know, like the money needs to inflate all the time, or that you know, you come up with something which is like you know, like transparent ledger, you can see all the transactions, or something which is a bit strange at the beginning. But with longevity, something like you don't wait for a doctor to see you or something, but you are the owner of your own health, and you should maybe get fitter. So maybe just like more walking, more sports, more running, taking some supplements like vitamin D, vitamin K, I don't know, vitamin C, B, or something like that. And I mean, always consult with your doctor. We are not medical specialists. It's just like an example of like taking some supplements, some vitamins, and getting more movement, exercising more, and then yeah, and there are some like experts in this like area, like doing research, and Balaji talks about them as well. David Huberman is one, and there is another one which kind of now the name escapes me, but like yeah, and they focused on yeah, just like experimenting with like various kind of ways how to. Sometimes it's also like eating less, yeah, and definitely less sugar, maybe on less carbs, but like yeah.
Okay, that's an exciting perspective on the future of health by Balaji. I know he's seeing this, or I hope he sees our podcast, and I hope to host him also in Mtambo's Desk podcast and explain this more. Yeah, but yeah,
Great.
your article brings a lot of thought-provoking ideas about the role of truth, health, and wealth in the era of Web3 and network states. Can you tell us how you see these ideas being implemented in the real world, and what kind of impact you think it could have on society as a whole?
Right. So like the truth, we talked about that maybe people should use focus more on these news they can use, like on building their skills, like on a regular basis, like something, I don't know, you can download brilliant.org, and like I just downloaded it, but I haven't. Balaji talks about this like a couple of times, but like I haven't used it much yet. But you can download these kind of apps where, like, I don't know, if you are waiting in line, or you're waiting to see a doctor, or you're traveling in a matatu, or on a bus, or on a train, I don't know, wherever you are, and you can just spend like every day, let's say 15 minutes on like some kind of clicking some tests, you know, like learning new things or something. So that's like about the truth. Like imagine, like now, you know, I used to be on Facebook all the time, or on Twitter, or on Instagram or something, and imagine like using like 15 less minutes on this kind of infotainment, and spending that 15 or 20 minutes on like everyday learning some kind of, or revising your skills, like let's say in math, in computer science, in statistics, in programming. There is this like Replit 100-day challenge that I want to try. So, you know, so it's like now, like us together, we are doing this kind of like a challenge of daily Balajism, like producing content on a daily basis, which is it's like 40x better than what I did before. I don't know. Maybe I wrote like one article every 2 months, and I don't know. It's just like in the evening, I don't know. You know,
it's a good
the evening I was, I don't know,
yeah.
just being on a balcony, having a wine or something, which is not bad, but like it's better to, I don't know, produce content. And it's like very kind of simple. This is not the Balajism, but it's very related. It's like news you can use, but if you are producing more content than you are consuming, then you are like a creator, you know, and then you kind of are you know, at least on a balance, because I also feel like I need to consume more, let's say, or revise more, or listen more to like like some older podcasts or something, to just like not to run out of content, or just to like not to produce some kind of mistaken, I don't know, some mistakes, but yeah, to be
So
more
it's
of
like kind of if you become a content creator, that means you have to also spend some time to get more information so that you can produce more. And this way you are learning more.
But most people, you know, this is like also like we discussed last time, that how could you, like, I don't know, put yourself on a map, or like how to improve your skills or something. But like you know, if you have like 100 people, let's say, interested in something, let's say a topic, even it could be like Balaji or something, so 99 of those 100 people will be just consuming the content, and they will not be producing anything. Even if you just like create a summary, like even like what I'm producing, I don't know, like sometimes I doubt, like I want to put at least like maybe one sentence or one extra information which like add value a little bit, you know, like something that maybe if Balaji reads this, and at least maybe it's not in every article, it's also good to repeat yourself. It's not a problem, but sometimes I feel I'm doing it too much maybe. But if I add like a one fact, or one quote, or one information, like some statistic from, I don't know, from China or something that he might have not heard before, or not read before, and so it's like kind of adding value a bit. But like the bigger idea here is, I think, if you are producing content, it might not be ideal, it might not be that great or something, but if you are not just like a consumer, but you are a creator, there is also this like prosumer, you know, it's like producer and consumer together. So you're like a prosumer, and you are working in some kind of scene.
I like that word.
Sorry.
I like the word prosumer.
Yeah, it's but it's also from like Alexander Bard or this kind of circle around. But yeah, it's I mean I don't know. They didn't come up with the word, but they used it quite a lot. Prosumer. Yeah, it's good. It's yeah. So you are becoming part of some kind of scene, you know, and you have like this scenius, which is like a genius of a scene, you know, like a scenius. So it's like. And that's one way. Okay, so that's like the truth or like building up your skills. And then health, being practical, I don't know, it's just like I don't know, at least like I try to do some like yoga in the morning or some like just like with some weights, like just some small, you know, and not much, but like some like dynamic exercises or something. If I maybe 5 minutes or 10 minutes or 15 or 20, something like that. Depends on the day. And then sometimes in the evening. But yeah, I mean, and I had quite a lot of movement, but like for the last two months, it's getting a bit less. But like, I don't know, if not running, then at least walking a lot in a day. You can maybe get some kind of cheaper, kind of smart watch or something like this fitness bracelet or something, and like measure your how much exercise and how much movement you do every day, and it can help. And maybe taking some vitamins in the morning, you know, like B and D, something like that can help. And in the evening, I take like the zinc, yeah, zinc and like some magnesium, kind of like magnesium. I think it's the word. Calcium, magnesium, some kind of things like that. And not some expensive ones, just like getting the some okay priced ones from like a normal shop. Mm, yeah, I mean, and definitely there are many things you can you can do, and also what I have to improve, like regarding health. But like if you ask something practical, I don't know, just like I think the fitness, and also Balaji talks about like the fitness is like a backdoor to medicine, probably, because if you are like the let's say obesity or like having a lot of being like overweight or something, it's connected with like many diseases or something. So it's like if it's like one thing that the people can do is like getting more movement and maybe less sugar and less carbs, something like that. Yeah, and sorry, and about wealth, I don't know. That here Balaji would say, I don't know, like you save, reduce your burn rate, your personal, increase your personal runway, maybe uh, by moving into a smaller city or in the countryside if you have a fast internet there, and try to save whatever you can. Like it could be just very small amounts, and like put Balaji would say put 50% into BTC and 50 into Ethereum, but it's not a financial advice, but like you know, like Bitcoin and Ethereum. That's like with wealth.
Hey.
Or create your own company, DAO or something.
No, okay.
No, it's not financial advice, but I don't know. You know, but personally, what I do or what I would do, it's just like yeah, BTC, Ethereum or ETH, and then also Solana, just because we were using it, you know. So we were using it's, you know, it wasn't just like putting money there, but we used it to, I don't know, to mint an NFT, to create the DAO, to learn with the how to, I don't know, do various things with it. So that's something what, and we wanted to create, and we might get back into with this idea, something like this. Training companies for students, like vocational education, and using Web3 for it. So it's like Web3 apprentices. And yeah, for this we would use Solana, you know, probably because it's cheaper than Ethereum. definitely. So therefore, I would I would put Solana there. But like, but what Balaji would say, he wouldn't say that. He would say just Bitcoin and Ethereum. So maybe you should listen to Balaji on that.
Okay.
So like, yeah, it could be like 500 shillings into Bitcoin and 500 shillings into Ethereum a month. Yeah.
Okay, that's a great overview of how these ideas could be implemented in the real world. But my takeaway summary from your article, I see these ideas being implemented in variety ways. For example, in terms of truth, I believe that we will see more focus on auditable crypto information and reproducible research, which will help to build trust in the community. And maybe in terms of health, I see the potential for personalized and effective healthcare system based on Web3 and zero knowledge tech. And maybe the last one, in terms of wealth, I see the potential for a decentralized and equitable financial system based on digital currency like Bitcoin. Overall, I believe that if we can build startup societies and network states around these values, it could have a positive impact on society as a whole by promoting transparency, trust, and equality.
Yeah, it was a great summary, actually. You summarized it better than me, you know. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, so yeah, okay. Jakub, thank you so much for joining us today and for sharing your insight on this topic. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you, Duke.
Well, that brings us to the end of this episode. Remember to check out Jakub's article, Truth, Health, and Wealth as the new motto for the era of Web3 and network states, and let us know your thoughts in the comment section. If you enjoyed listening to Mtambo's Desk podcast, don't forget to subscribe, give this episode a thumbs up, and be sure to come back next week for another episode. Until then, this is Duke Mtambo, and don't forget to do good always.